Graham Rawlins with our Friday edition of News Geelong. A 5-year funding for project sites at Buckley Park in Ocean Grove, Limeburners Point in Geelong and Thompson Creek in Brimley has been announced this week. While the directly elected mayor for Geelong process is underway, with current Mayor John Mitchell announcing his candidacy. From the world of Geelong sport, Mitch Scoop Cleary updates us with the latest. While from the weather world, we will bring you the Geelong and Surf Coast area weather forecast expected over the next 6 days. Commitments of more than $160 million to the G21 region in the state budget has reinforced the government's belief in the region and confirmed the effectiveness of G21's advocacy work. Ian Nichols reports.
The state budget has been handed down and Geelong will be the recipients of $150 million in funding for some very major projects, including an upgrade of the Geelong Hospital here to the tune of $93.3 million. We're speaking with the G21 Chief Executive Officer Elaine Carbines about this windfall for Geelong.
Great to see in very tight fiscal times, when the budget's really tight, that the Geelong region has actually done really well. We were delighted to see over $93 million for Barwon Health to have new cancer facilities, which I think is much needed and will be very well appreciated by the whole of the Geelong region community. We saw also really much needed funding for Northern Bay College. I was out there yesterday and they were delighted that it means that the Wexford campus and the Peacock Avenue campus is now going to be able to be finished. We're still $4 million short though, because the Handy Street campus needs to be done. That's the one that's the most in need. $2 million for GPAC for urgent maintenance works there, which is really well received, plus $200,000 recurrent funding per annum, which is much needed at GPAC as well. Interestingly, a lot of money put into facilities at Armstrong Creek, which is in the South Barwon electorate. So we've seen funding for the community essential services hub at Armstrong Creek, plus money to purchase land for a new school to be constructed there as well, plus a new railway station. So the southern suburbs of Geelong are doing very, very well. Interestingly, we saw money which may not seem apparent at first to Geelong residents to be of benefit to them, but business case funding, $15 million of business case funding for the East-West link, which I know is a metro project, but we've got 13,000 people plus commute daily to Melbourne for work, and this is all about fixing up the congestion on the Princess Freeway, the Westgate Freeway and the Westgate Bridge. So we're very strong supporters of that project. So all in all, very good outcome, I think, for the G21 region.
Well, we know that you work on behalf of at least 5 municipalities and there's a lot of ground to cover there. So what's the general feeling as we've only had a matter of 48 hours or so, but to sort of gather some feedback from this within your members?
I think the municipalities on the whole and our board were very pleasantly surprised. We expected a very tight budget, and normally when you're hearing words like, it's hard times and tight, you're thinking you're not going to get very much out of the budget. So maybe expectations were lower this year, but we were very pleasantly surprised by the commitment across the region by the state government. Very welcome funding indeed, and we still have plenty more that we want funded, of course. We're a bit like that naughty child that gets some funding and wants more. Well, we've got lots of projects that we're interested in talking further with the state government about, and of course the federal government.
Well, naturally, and I mean the hospital did take a huge chunk, the 93 million, but still, as you've said, you always have a wish list, don't you, no matter what?
We do. We have a priority projects, 15 of them in total, so many of these announcements will help progress those projects, which is really pleasing. But we must remember that Barwon Health services the whole region. It's not just a Geelong project. It does provide health and emergency services to everyone that lives in our region and beyond, actually. So it's a great commitment by the state government to invest in cancer facilities for all of us.
From the G21 headquarters here on Moorabool Street, this is Ian Nichols for News Geelong.
Thank you, Ian. Funded by the Australian Government's Caring for Our Country program, the the City of Greater Geelong has received a $415,000 boost to protect biodiversity at 3 coastal reserves. Ian Nichols with the story.
The federal government has issued a grant of more than $415,000 to the City of Greater Geelong to look after the biodiversity and conservation and environment of our coastal area, particularly here at Buckley Park. I'd call it Colindina because it's right opposite the local pub, but also more money will be going into Brimley at Thompson's Creek and also lime burners near Geelong. We're talking with the federal member for Corangamite, Darren Cheeseman. Well, Gareth, this is a lovely coup for the Corangamite Catchment Management Authority to be able to come down here to a place like Buckley Park and take care of weeds and the environment generally.
Oh, it is. It's great to be able to partner with the federal government through Caring for Country and City of Greater Geelong, which responsible for managing this great reserve here on the foreshore, which is not a lot of this remnant vegetation left. So it's a good opportunity.
Well, the bulk of the spending, as I understand it, Darren, is coming down here to Buckley Park, some to lime burners in Geelong on the foreshore there and Thompson Creek at Brimley. But this is our main concern today, and you can see there's a lot of vegetation here. You've been able to spot any weeds at all?
Well, as Gareth said, this money is really around protecting original landscape like we have here today. Of course, we do see some introduced species, I suspect escapees from various backyards and gardens. We do very much need to make sure that we do remove weeds from these very special landscapes, because people obviously do enjoy recreating here in Ocean Grove, and we do want to protect the environment and enhance it, and certainly there's no doubt about it that introduced species are a real problem.
Well, the Catchment Authority must be spending all of its time, of course, devoted to the coastline here. It's just such a huge area that you cover, just like the electorate of Corangamite itself.
Oh, it is. Look, we're 175 kilometres of coast in the Corangamite area, and there's some fantastic reserves still left. So we work with the federal government and state government.
At a very windy Buckley Park in Colindina, this is Ian Nichols for News Geelong.
Thank you, Nico. As we go to a break on this Friday edition of News Geelong, don't forget you can Twitter us on our Twitter account at NewsGeelong31 with your thoughts and comments. We'll return with more news after this.